everybody, Tina here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am participating in a collab. This one is created by Lindsay. I will put her channel link down below. This is my birth story. I actually have 4 different birth stories since I have 4 different kids. So I'm actually going to do 4 different videos so that each of my kids have their own videos that they can go to and, show who they want to show. So today I am going to start off with my son Wyatt. Not Wyatt. Oh, Amante. It's what happens when you have more than one kid. You call them all. So this is me, pregnant. Can you see it? With Amante. This is my 22-year-old, so this was 1994. I had a pretty good pregnancy. I actually started at 128 and I got up to 189 or 98 or something like that. So this is one thing I did do with all 4 of my kids. I kept a pregnancy journal. I know they have things that you can do on the phone now to keep, but I wrote down every doctor's appointment, every feeling I had, everything throughout my pregnancy. So my son was actually due on August 4th, but he came June 28th. He was 5.5 weeks early. So on Monday the 27th in the morning, I woke up and the bed was wet. And I went to the hospital and they told me that I pretty much peed my bed, which I did not believe, but they sent me home. Told me I was not, my water did not break. So went all day, went all night, leaked a little bit. Woke up the next morning. Now I did not go. My last Lamaze class was the Monday the 27th. I didn't go. So I didn't learn anything about pushing and breathing, just what they had talked. The last class was going to be all on that, so I didn't get any of that. So Monday or Tuesday morning on the 28th of June, and remember, this is 1994, so things were a lot different back then. I woke up again, the bed was wet. I never even as a kid peed the bed, so I didn't believe that. So all throughout the day, I kept leaking. I went through all of my clothes. My 15-year-old sister at the time rode her bike to my house, which was probably 3 or 4 miles, to come sit with me. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was disgusted. I was on my last outfit of clothes, and I was going back to see this doctor because it was ridiculous. And if something was wrong, they just kind of dismissed me and said I peed the bed. So I go to the hospital. The same doctor that was sent me home was standing there. I said, my water's broke. Kind of moved my hips a little bit and leaked water out. So he brings, puts me into a room and leaves me there. So at like 4:45, some lady walked in, didn't even know I was in the room. She was like, what are you doing here? I said, well, I was coming to see if my water was broke. Mind you, I'm still sitting, well, I was supposed to be sitting with my legs up in the stirrups, but it was so long, I ended up taking them down. So, I was sitting here. She says, put your legs up. She had turned around and got like a little tube full of little papers, little strips. So she pulled a strip out and put it, at my area down there. And she was like, how long have you been like this? I said, I came in yesterday morning and told him that my water was broke, and he didn't believe me. She was like, yeah, your water is broke. How, when are you due? August 4th. She's like, oh my gosh, so we got to get you into a room. So they get me into a room. They get me hooked up to Pitocin because I'm not feeling any contractions or anything. Um, they get me hooked up to everything. About 5 o'clock now. This is 22 years ago. I'm doing the best that I can do to remember everything. So, they get me into a room. Now, back then, you would labor in one room and deliver in another room, in an operating room. Whereas nowadays, you kind of labor and deliver all in one room. You had to actually go and deliver into a operating room. And what's cool is the same doctor that delivered my first baby, because I am my mom's first baby, delivered me. So, yeah, she was quite old, but she was very, very good. I loved her. Dr. Howell. So, they get me into the room to start my IV. She couldn't get it. I mean, it hurt so bad. She was just trying in every hand, or both my hands. She finally got it, but, blood had splattered. So there was a big, huge blood spot on my bed, which they never changed. My brother-in-law at the time, was a medic in the Army, so he was furious, yelling at everybody to come and get me new sheets, and how dare my IVs look like that. He was mad. So, they finally get me hooked up. About 5:30, I feel my first contraction. They're, everybody's saying, it's going to be a while. My mom and dad came up. All my sisters were there. I was the oldest, so I have younger sisters. My brother-in-law and my sister-in-law were up there, and Chris and Ilsa. And then my Aunt Sharon and my cousin Lindsay, Lauren, came up. And I know his parents came up the next day. But his mom, my ex-husband's mom, she was up there, I believe. I don't really remember. It kind of all was crazy. So, with me going early at 35 and a half weeks, I had never reached the point in my prenatal visits to get the Group B strep test. Well, I am a Group B strep carrier. I didn't know this at the time, but I am a Group B strep carrier, and if you know anything about Group B strep, when you deliver vaginally, you must have antibiotics for a certain amount of time before you deliver the baby, and in order for the baby to pass through the birth canal, you have to be on antibiotics running through your IV for a certain amount of time. So I didn't get that. So they kept checking me. I do have it all written down, and I kind of did read through it before I made this video. They kept checking me, and I wasn't dilating. I was just not dilating. And at about 11 o'clock at night, I started pushing just out of nowhere. Like, they came in, broke my water. I was still at a 5. I believe I was at a 5, maybe a 4 or 5. And then hit, half hour later, I start pushing. And they were like, no way, stop pushing. You can't be ready. Sure enough, I was dilated to 9.5. I was not allowed to have the baby in this room. That was why they were freaking out that I was pushing. So they rushed me into the OR. It was about 11:13 at night, and they literally gave me the okay to push. And he was born at 11:28. So they kind of took him out. He was 6 pounds, 8 ounces, which is a good size for a baby that was born, you know, at that time, 35 and a half weeks. So, um, so they take him away. I didn't really get to see him. Plus, they had taken my glasses, so I wasn't able to see. They did bring a mirror down so that I could see, but I couldn't see. So, now, through my whole labor, it was thunderstorming. This I can remember like it was yesterday. The power kept going out. So the lights kept going off, and then they would come on, but all the machines would go off, and there was just beeping, so much beeping. It was just irritating. Plus, I'm trying to labor, and it was just not fun to begin with. So we get into the OR, have the baby, they take him away. I finally get my glasses. They bring him back to me. Now, the best picture I have of him is my mom is holding him. And yes, it is a Polaroid. But this is how they bring my baby back to me. I am hoping this is focused. Can you tell? This is how they bring my baby back to me. No warning, no nothing. 2 heplocks put in each side of his head. One's going this way and one's going this way. And this is so they could give him antibiotics since they had found out that I was a group B strep. So they had to put him on medication. But no warning to that right there. I almost died. I was going to insert these pictures, but since I have 4 of them to do and I already have them as pictures, I'm just going to show you. I hope that is okay. If they are blurry or anything, maybe I'll insert them, but I've got my husband kind of looking to see it's not blurry, or it is. Okay. So all of his baby pictures has him with these heplocks in his head. Here's his that's his newborn picture, his very first picture. So he's got to have this medication. He's great though. He was such a good baby. He hardly cried. I breastfed all 4 of my babies, so he was exclusively breastfed. He was thriving. So they let me go home in 2 days, but they needed to have a full 2 days of medication going in. My birth was quick. For my first one, 6 hours of labor. I pretty much pushed like 2 or 3 times and he came out. He was the perfect textbook delivery. That's what they said back then. So, I mean, he came out perfect. Everything was perfect. And so that was my first delivery, vaginal. So that was Amante James, lands on the 2nd, June 28th, 1994. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye now, but I'm just going to turn the camera right back on and I will tell you about my next baby. All right, see you in a minute. And if you want to check out the videos from other people's birth story that I am collabing with, I will put the link of the playlist down below. If you liked my video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!